A 14-year-old girl died a few hours after being vaccinated against the virus that causes cervical cancer. There are no indications of any links between Morton's death and the vaccine, although Morton appeared to be healthy before the shot was given.
CDC recommends that all girls starting at 11 or 12 years old get vaccinated against cervical cancer. It's a disease that kills 4,000 women each year. But now, 2 studies just published in the Journal of the American Medical Association are raising new questions about the safety of this vaccine. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
Welcome back.
It's a dilemma for millions of parents across the country. Whether to vaccinate their daughters against a sexually transmitted virus that can cause cervical cancer.
It's for her own health. I did it.
Gardasil, a series of 3 shots given over 6 months, has been heavily promoted.
The right time to protect her is now.
So far, more than 7 million Americans have received Gardasil injections. The study identifies 12,000 medical problems after vaccination. Most are mild, dizziness, headache, and fainting. But there are more than 700 reports of serious medical problems, including blood clots, autoimmune disorders, and 32 cases of death.
These are initial reports, and I don't think that we can assume necessarily a cause and effect relationship, as many of these women had other underlying medical conditions.
Most doctors I know have stopped giving this vaccine because of the safety issues around it now.
As a gynecologist, Dr. Jacques Moritz sees the deadly effects of cervical cancer. He is also the father of an 11-year-old daughter.
I'm not going to have my daughter vaccinated right now.
Why not?
Because I think there's other ways to prevent cervical cancer, the old standards, pap smear, routine exams, and this vaccine, I just don't know enough about it yet.
Making the decision to vaccinate all the more difficult for many parents and pediatricians.
I feel that we don't have enough information or data yet to be able to say that this will prevent cervical cancer.
For Good Morning America, John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
The controversy is clear here. Let's bring in from Boston, ABC News Chief Medical Editor Dr. Tim Johnson. And Dr. Tim, the headline for me here is that this is the first time that even you say, so confounding, you can't make a recommendation.
As you know, Chris, I'm very much in favor of all other childhood vaccines, but in this case, I don't think we yet know the long-term benefits or risks. It does prevent HPV infection. That should prevent cervical cancer long-term. The risks we still don't know long-term. So I'm taking a pass on this one and saying to parents, look, study the issue, read the editorial in the Journal this week. It's a great editorial. Talk to your doctor about it. And maybe wait a little bit, like Dr. Moritz is going to do. Don't jump into this one, because I think we still have a lot to learn.
So why isn't the directive simply, don't do it, it's risky?
Because we know it does what it says. It prevents HPV infections, and we know that some parents are very concerned about that and want to prevent that, hoping it will prevent cervical cancer. They have a right to do it. It's approved by the FDA. It's not wildly dangerous. We already know that. So that's your choice. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just not prepared to make a recommendation.
So you have to inform yourself. Dr. Tim, thank you very much.
On this one for sure, yeah.
So if you want more information out there, go to abcnews.com. There's information about the vaccine there for you.
At the time of making this movie, October 2009, I had already emailed our health minister, Tony Ryall, and informed him about my concerns in connection with the swine flu vaccinations. I had asked him to confirm or deny whether he had ordered 300,000 dosages of the vaccine from the Baxter Corporation. As yet, I have only received an acknowledgement stating he is looking into the matter, indicating he will get back to me in a few weeks. There is an unconfirmed report that New Zealand has already ordered those 300,000 dosages of swine flu vaccine from the Baxter Company. Let us now summarize. If we take away 70% of the information and just concentrate on that which is verified, then we have the following. Dr. Strecker and other doctors have scientifically verified that the viruses that make up AIDS are identical and have the same genetic codings as a number of animal viruses. They have also shown evidence of the success of scientists being able to get the animal viruses to cross the species barrier. It has been shown that AIDS broke out in the same places where vaccination programs had been undertaken in Africa and the United States. On May the 11th, 1987, this fact was reported by the London Times. The fact that Baxter contaminated medicine for haemophiliacs in 2005 with the subsequent responses by Baxter was reported by the New York Times. In February 2009, Baxter's Austrian subsidiary manufactured and distributed 72 kilograms of vaccine material contaminated with the live H5N1 virus to 16 laboratories in 4 countries, including Austria. This was reported in the Times of India. It is concluded that, through protocols of vaccine manufacture, biosafety level 3, it is virtually impossible for AIDS to get into the vaccine production line by mistake. The World Health Organization has declared the swine flu to be classified as the highest level pandemic, thus activating laws in place that require vaccination to be mandatory if they see fit. The fact that the swine flu has caused no more deaths than the normal seasonal flu raises the question of why it is given this pandemic classification. Despite the World Health Organization claiming mercury is not toxic in the levels used in vaccines, Dr. McCullough, Dr. Heltorf, and a growing number of other doctors disagree. If you prefer to make your evaluations only from verified facts, then please consider this information. My main purpose, of course, was to overcome this this situation, and I started working on that. I came to the conclusion that the normal medical system and the drugs were not helping me, although they didn't really have any answers.